So FC Soma linked with Camden United because it's a family club. Both are linked. It's probably one of the biggest teams out there. It's Qatar it's unbelievable facilities. And he said, you need to come back and finish your degree. You know, you can't just leave to play professional football. As you know, football is who you know rather than how good you are, etc. So I knew people out there. And he exposed me to a club in a Premier League. So in Malaysia, there's like Super League and there's Premier League.
You alright, mate? How are you today?
Good, thanks. How are you?
I'm very good. Welcome to my studio and welcome to the Chinwag Podcast. So, just introduce yourself to the viewers. Off you go.
So my name is Mansor. I'm 29 years old. I'm currently managing a first team, Camden United, and I'm originally from Eritrea, born in London. Hospital.
Wow, location and all that, yeah?
Yeah, location, man. Just got to let them know. And yeah, that's me, really.
So, obviously you're a football coach.
Yeah.
How did you get into football from an early age? Who got you into football or sport in general?
So it was since pretty much as early as I can remember, since I was born. Since I was a toddler, I think the first memories I got was my parents getting me like running gigs, dribbling cones from like 3 years old. And I just remember doing that, and my brother was a big influence in me supporting Man United and just playing football, you know, just going out, playing out with friends in the area, just kicking against the wall constantly. From there, obviously, we had school, we had opportunities to play at QPR development from primary school. QPR coaches kept coming down, and my love of football just started there, really.
Was it only football you played throughout your childhood, or did you play any other sports or any was football your main focus as a kid?
Football was everything, but obviously I was I had multi skills, so I'd be able to play cricket, I'd be able to play tennis, I'll be able to play basketball, all of these different types of sports, but football was the sport that was the in thing, and it still is probably the most popular sport, but that was what I was just like mad about, as many people are, you know.
So how did you start getting into competitive football from an early age? Was it Sunday league clubs? Was it academy stuff like you said?
The earliest memory I got was playing for Actual Soccer. So Actual Soccer is an academy that was based in West London, and it comprised of players from different backgrounds. Charlton FC coaches was coaching at that club at the time, and it was in like 2003, 2004 times, so quite early on. And I played with players like championship players, like there were some players like Kadeem Harris and some good players around the area that was in that setup. And that was the earliest memories I got to being exposed to playing at a good level.
So from then, where did you go from there? So how long did you stay at Actual Soccer for? Was it a long time?
Nah, it was just 2 years. It was just 2 years playing there, just constantly developing my foundation skills, my dribbling, my technique. Because I wasn't the best player initially, but then I grew and developed into a better technically gifted player. But then that was 2 years, and then after that, I moved on to just playing at school. So just playing in school from year 7, year 8, year 9, school teams. And then I got introduced to the Benfica coach, Sport London Benfica, and that was like a Sunday league team and the Harrow Youth League. Again, that was a good level, a lot of good players there, and yeah, that's what I've been sort of doing throughout my childhood. That was my first experience playing 11-a-side. I mean, there's a big difference playing at school on an AstroTurf pitch to playing on a Sunday league pitch at Scrubs, you know, so that was my first exposure, you know.
So you talked about playing in school. Did you go to college? Did you go to university? Did you play football there?
Yeah, so after I finished my GCSEs year 11, I moved straight to City Westminster College, where I'd done a sports science, diploma, national diploma. So I'd done 2 years there, level 3. And again, I was just exposed to football. That didn't sort of deter me from trying to make it as a player. I always knew, actually, Ali, that I would never make it in this country. I would only play semi-professional football in this country. That was my ceiling. Just being a realist, you know. A lot of kids nowadays, they're not realistic with their goals, and they're not looking around them and realising that London is probably the most overpopulated and it is the most competitive place to make it as a professional in this world, you know. And I knew that from early on. I was like, look, I'm honest with myself. I've played with good players. I've been exposed to good environments, but I'm not going to waste my time in London, you know, just to play semi-pro football.
So, as you said, you didn't think you could make it in England, in London, for example. So, did you try your hand elsewhere in a different country?
Yeah. So after college, I finished my national diploma in 2011. I went to Qatar. My mum said, "Look, we've got to go to Qatar just for traveling, basically." I took my boots with me. I took it with me everywhere I went. And my uncle said, "Look, while you're here, rather than you just being bored for like a month, you might as well just go and play for a team. I'll just take you to a team." I thought that it would just be like you know, like in Sunday League team, yeah. But then I realised that it's probably one of the biggest teams out there. It's Qatar SC. It's unbelievable facilities. It was under 18s at the time. And yeah, I just got exposed to a professional club. But then I played there, I trained there. And boy, they loved me over there. And I was surprised, you know, because everyone was like me, like very, you know, athletic, slim. And they just liked my profile of play. And they just wanted me to sort of stay there.
So, what was that like as a person growing up in London? And obviously, culturally, you're from Eritrea, but growing up in London, going over to Qatar, what's the difference between English football and the style of play Qataris play?
Good question, man. That is a great question because...
Yes! Come on! Good.
Good question, yeah, because the difference is huge. As I said, I played Sunday League football here. I played... At that time as well, just before I left, I got exposed to men's football. So I played men's football at 18. But the physicality, the aggression, the ball being up in the air 80% of the time in the UK, it was non-existent over there. You know, you have to play on the floor. That was a big aspect. You have to be physically fit. You have to be able to get around the pitch for 90 minutes. You have to be as fit as a fiddle over there, you know. And the profile of player in Qatar, in comparison to a profile of player here, is different. You know, here the first thing they'll ask you is how tall you are, or how far can you kick, etc. There it's more about, you know, the duration of how long you can last throughout a game and how long can you repeat a repetitive amount of sprints and passes and etc. So it was more technical based over there.
So what were your best experiences over playing for Qatar SC?
I would say playing with professional players that were earning millions, man. Like, they're rich over there. So like, I was in an environment and a changing room where people are millionaires, essentially, really, you know.
Is this from football, from outside of football? From football, as in being...
Oh, from football, yeah, from football, yeah. Some of them, there's a player, if you Google him, actually, he played in the 2014 World Cup, Michael Babatunde. He played against Messi, played against Di Maria, you know, and I've got a video of me chilling next to him in a changing room, and, you know, it's crazy. It was a good experience, and he just gave me so much tips, etc. That was a good experience, playing alongside those players, the expat players. And also just training every day, Ali, man. Just going into training every day with your boots. You're leaving your boots there, actually, you know, leaving your boots at the training ground, and the environment was so safe, you know, like the changing rooms, you have like people leave all of their stuff there, like Rolexes, etc. on the changing room, and no one will be scared, you know. So that was a good experience, being in a nice environment like that. And as I said, you know, just being exposed to good training sessions as well, because when I came back from Qatar, we'll go into that in a second.
We'll talk about that later.
Yeah, I was fit as a fiddle, man. Like, my technical aspect was so much higher. That was down to the coaching, you know.
So what was the hardest thing moving from England to Qatar? Obviously, you're still with your family. So what was the main difference between England and Qatar living out there?
As in difficulties.
Difficulties, yeah. Like...
Yeah, just getting bored, man. Sometimes you get bored. You know, you want that community, you want that vibes. Like, I grew up in London, a big community. And not having that, just going to training, coming back. At the time, it wasn't Instagram, it wasn't Snapchat, it was Facebook. So I would just type on Facebook, this is what I done today, this is what I done today. And I would not have that person with me on a day-to-day basis. So it will be more boring in that.
So obviously, you said you were physically fit. Was that hard mentally in your head, not having someone there?
Yeah, big time.
How long did you spend out playing for Qatar SC, and what was the reasoning you left?
So it was roughly about 2 months, not long. I was planning to stay there. The coaches asked me to stay. My dad called me back. He said, "Look, you've got to finish," because I was studying at the time. You know, I was just on break. And my dad called me back from Qatar to London, he said, you need to come back and finish your degree. You know, you can't just leave to play professional football. But
Was that a very hard decision to make for you?
not for my dad, but for me, it was difficult. I didn't understand it. You know, I was like, this is a big opportunity. This is once in a lifetime. But your dad is your dad. You listen to your dad, and I did that. I came back.
Is that something you would change if? Yeah.
Sometimes me and my dad watch the football on TV, and he's like, you know what? You should have stayed there, man. I'm like, you can't say that now. yeah.
So after Qatar SC, did you come back to London or did you go to another country?
So I came back to London.
You came back to London, finished your degree.
Yeah, so I done that. I was working with a club called Cricklewood Wanderers. I was in depth in that club, like playing football for them, etc. I was involved there. I done a variation of different things, and then after that, I think rolled on a couple of years. I didn't finish my degree. I left my course, and then I ended up going into creative writing in a university. So I done a creative writing degree. And then I said, look, I don't want to do that either. Because this is where the time I was just thinking, what do I want to really do? I got a scholarship in it as creative writing. It was one of a few people that got the scholarship. So I thought I was good at that. But then I just thought, this is not what makes me tick, you know. Mm-hmm. So then I left that and I went to Malaysia.
Oh, wow.
I went to Malaysia.
My hometown.
That's your town, yeah.
My town.
Yeah, I went to Malaysia. I've had a good friend out there.
So you ended up in Malaysia. Did you continue your football journey?
Yes, so I went there to meet a friend. He had good connections with clubs out there. As you know, football is who you know rather than how good you are, etc. So I knew people out there, and he exposed me to a club in a Premier League. So in Malaysia, there's like Super League and there's Premier League, and then there's the other divisions underneath that. So I was in a Premier League, which is Division 1 basically. And yeah, he got me a trial out there, and I was loving life out there. But for whatever reason, I just weren't. I wasn't well. I had like a bad illness, like after a month and a half. I actually rented a flat for a year. Mm-hmm. I rented a flat. I signed the papers and everything. I was staying there for a year. But I was not well at all, so I had to return back to the UK.
So was it a tough decision to make? Obviously, you want to stay out there, play professional football.
Yeah.
Was it a tough decision to make when you had to come back to England?
Big time. That was the toughest. That one there was the biggest trial I've had to endure because it was a proper illness. Like I had to go to hospital when I got back to London, you know. So that was difficult, and I was just like, everything was going right, and then that happened, which was tough, but I just had to like roll on with it. But it was difficult mentally to deal with that because, yeah, after that we'll speak about what.
Was it so? You know, you said it was difficult mentally. Was it tougher when you were in Qatar when you didn't have anyone to like chat to? Was it?
No, this was tougher, Ali. Yeah, this was tougher because this was just like out of my control, you know. That one, I actually made a conscious decision to return back for university. This one was more about, like, this is out of my... I booked an open ticket, you know. I was going to stay there permanently. The club was there, I was training with them, you know. But I wasn't well, you know, so...
So what was the club like? Did you get on with the people that were there? Did they make you feel welcome when you first joined?
Yeah, Malaysia's the best country I've been to. Out of all the different countries I've been to, different continents, Malaysia is the best because... First of all, it's clean. The country is very clean. The people are open. They're very helpful. Mm-hmm. The football was good. It was enjoyable.
The style of play in Qatar and Malaysia, did that differ, or was it very similar?
A bit different. It was similar in terms of players being fit, physically fit. However, it was more unpredictable in Malaysia. So like you would not know what the person can like. They would not know what they're doing sometimes with the ball. Like it was so,
Alan Maximin vibes.
Basically, yeah. So I was just like, this is very unpredictable, you know. And they love that unpredictability over there as well. But in Qatar, it was more cultured, more technical, etc., etc.
So you return home from Malaysia. Obviously, you're ill and you go to hospital. Yeah. So after you come out of hospital and you've fully recovered, what's your thinking? I want to go back to Malaysia. I want to go back to Qatar, or you're staying in England?
That was to be honest, I was very firm and stubborn, Ali, to say, look, I'm going to go back and give it just one more try because this is not my fault, really. And I've been given opportunities. Most people have not been given these opportunities and haven't played in these environments they wish they had. You know, I'm not saying I'm better than anyone else. There's probably better players that haven't been given the opportunity.
But you feel very fortunate that you've been given the opportunity.
I've been given the opportunity, but at the same time, I felt unfortunate for having those issues, you know. So I thought, I've been given opportunities. Why don't I try again? Kind of thing, you know. So
So did you try again, and what
Yeah.
was the outcome of that
So
plan?
basically, I was playing semi-pro football for Kensington Borough at the time. And then I had a game against Romford, semi-professional club, in a pre-season game. It was a nothing game, really. And I picked the ball up from like the edge of the box, and I drove with it throughout the middle of the pitch. And then, like, literally out of nowhere, one of their midfielders came behind me and just stuck his stud out on my knee. And then my knee came out of place, came back in, dislocated, ACL gone, meniscus gone, all in that one tackle.
Wow. So from that tackle in a pre-season friendly, was your career as a footballer, trying to be a footballer, over, and then you want to try to become a coach, or what was your thinking after you recovered from injury?
I was 24 at the time. I was not thinking about coaching. I was thinking about just going back and getting the surgery and playing. That was my idea. So I got my surgery. I didn't even get my surgery, sorry. I played with a dislocated knee, with my kneecap 1 centimetre above where it's meant to be situated, which was a joke. And I had like kinesiology tape around it to stop it from moving. And I travelled to Qatar. I said, I'm going to try one more time.
So having that in the back of your head, as in your injury, you travelled to Qatar. What was your, retrial or your trial with that? Was it the same? Was it the same club, or was
It was the same club, but it wasn't the 18s. Obviously, I was older, so it was the 23s. So it was like second team, basically.
So what happened in that trial there?
It was good. I mean, it was good. I played right back at that time. I wasn't as a winger because I couldn't do what I could do before because of my knee. So I played as a right back, and I was doing well. You know, everything was fine. They enjoyed my stay over there, and I just said, look, this knee is not, it's not durable, is it? You know, so I had to come back. I got my surgery. And then after my surgery, maybe you want to ask me about that, right? Because it was tough. That was up there with the toughest, my surgery.
So how did you mentally deal with being injured? Obviously, you got the ability. How did you mentally deal with your injury being so severe?
Tough. It was tough, Ali. It was just difficult, you know, just like what you could do before, you can't do now, you know, and especially being as in a young age and having that surgery, where my surgery, Ali, was an partial ACL tear that they thought could heal by itself because it wasn't that bad, so they didn't operate on that. The meniscus they operated on, and the dislocation of the knee they operated on. So they operated on the MPFL, which is the dislocation of the knee, and the meniscus. So they fixed that. When the surgeon opened up my knee, he found out that I had no ACL. It was a complete tear.
Wow, okay.
So that meant I need to do the surgery again. And I haven't done surgery since. I was like, this is long. I'm not going to do 2 surgeries on the same knee.
And obviously the cost of it as well.
Yeah,
it's
exactly.
expensive.
Yeah, so then I thought, this is long. So I just thought, coach, basically.
So from the moment you thought, I'm going to coach, how did you plan to get your coaching qualifications, and what ideas did you have in mind to get those qualifications?
So first of all, I just thought to finish my degree, because I was doing an open university degree this time, where I was able to work, and I worked in a train station for about 4 years. And then I was studying at the same time while I was working, so it was very full on. And I started up a company called Live Right with a friend of mine.
So what is that company?
It's a non-for-profit organisation that helps the community with educational services, with health and fitness services, with football services.
Is that still running to this day?
It is, yeah, and that's
So do you want to tell me more about your company?
So this is the thing now. So this is another thing. So I was the founder of that company, and it's something that I'm still a part of, but not very close with that company so far. But I'm helping where I can. But it's built a college program that's comprised of over 70 kids in the college program. It's built a camp in Dubai, where they've got a Southampton camp running in Dubai. They've got a link with Southampton Football Club.
Oh wow!
They've got a youth team here as well, so they're doing quite a lot of things, to be fair. And yeah, that started in 2018 when I was 25. Me and 2 others started that company.
Oh, nice. That's actually quite interesting, actually. So now you are coach of Camden United. From your injury to now, how did you forge your career path as a football coach?
So from the injury, as I said, I started off with Live Right, and with Live Right, we started up a club called Ealing Town. Ealing Town is a club that was based, obviously, in Ealing, and we started up a club at the Middlesex level. It was a good level. It was a good club. That was where I first was exposed to coaching because it was my club. So that was my first club coaching, and then I moved from there to London Rangers. I managed that club. That was a fun time.
It's big rivalry with Kodak.
Big rivalry, yeah. That was a good time. That one there was where I was exposed to coaching something that's away from my comfort zone. You know, people I don't know. You know, and that was good. And then from there, I coached FC Soma, which was unbelievable.
That's where we first met each other, but
Yeah.
not actually met each other.
But I saw you on the pitch. You tried,
Try to clean out some of your
clean
players.
out my best player, man.
I'll put the clip in now.
Yeah, put a clip in now. He literally tried to snap my best player, man. That's playing step 3 now. But yeah.
So from FC Soma, I know that you joined with Camden United and made that Camden United. So talk about your experiences so far of being head coach at Camden United.
Yeah, so that experience was good. So FC Soma linked with Camden United because it's a family club. Both are linked, and we just made it happen. Basically, we made it happen, and it was a good merger, and now we're starting something special. You know.
So with Camden United, obviously you're in the Prem of the Middlesex League. What are your ambitions for you personally as a coach and Camden United for the next 5 years?
For me, for the next 5 years, me personally.
You personally, well, fine. We'll go with you personally for the next 5 years.
Okay, me personally, I would say, first of all, I want to coach full time. Hopefully, I'm doing a PE course now, which I'm teaching, and hopefully just do that linked with football. But ideally, football full time. That would be the most sort of rewarding job for me, especially doing it for so many years. And for Camden United, I think semi-professional football, man. That's something that we were so close with last year. We was top for like God knows how long, man. It was a long time, and we were unbeaten for 3 months, and we were playing amazing football. And then things just plummeted. You know, the league deducted points, and we just didn't manage to sort of make that step to step 6. But Camden United, I think next year will be the year that we're pushing for promotion, definitely.
Obviously, you used to be a player and now you're a coach. What's the biggest difference and the biggest challenges that you face as a player and you face as a coach?
The biggest difference is, as a player, is you focus on yourself at all times. You just focus on yourself. The biggest challenge as a coach is you have to sort of look at everyone else, basically. It's as simple as that, but it's very detailed within that answer, you know.
So how have you overcome those hurdles from being a player to a coach?
I think my playing style helped me massively. And my coaches that are professional coaches now in America, coaches that in this country, they would tell you what type of player I was. In the game, I would play left wing, I'll play holding midfield, I'll play as a 10, as a right back, left back. And because of that know-how playing in different positions, I was able to sort of relate that to my team when I'm giving feedback to my players that are playing holding midfield, that are playing left midfield, etc. So that helped me massively, being sort of adaptable to those different positions.
Whilst you were playing, could you see yourself becoming a football coach?
No way. That's a good question. Why? Because first of all, I was very introverted. I was very within myself, but I was a good observer. So I would observe the coaches, the tendencies, how they would communicate with me, with other players. I would observe other players. So I wasn't so much the one to be. I was never a captain. Never a captain. You know, I think I captained one team, and that was about it in one game. But other than that, I was never a captain. So everyone is quite shocked at how I've managed 3 different clubs now and where I am, you know. But, you know, this is part of the development. Sometimes the ones that are, you know, a bit quiet, they come out to be the sort of quiet leaders at the end of the day. You know? So
currently, are you a quiet leader, or are you one that shouts, or one that leaves them to it to let them reflect on their performance themselves?
Man. Again, you're coming up with these big questions. Yeah, that's a good question, because I've changed over my time. So when I went as an introverted player, I would go about my business, I'll play, I'll do my job. But then all of that energy that I saw and that sort of frustration that I felt as a player, I was so immature in my first year of coaching. So I was like shouting at everyone. I was like, why am I acting like this? Over time, I've managed to sort of fix those situations, and I've just been more observing and picking the right times to speak to players and letting them know at halftime when is the right time to shout at them, you know, because if I see a team, like for example, we're second in the league in the Islington Midweek Premier Division now. Yeah, we're just behind Hilltop. There was a game we lost against a team called Northwest 3-1, and at half time and at the end of the game, I was super pleased with them. I was so happy. I couldn't get up because of the way they performed and their energy, their application, their attitude. We played them recently. It was 2-0 up at half time, and I was so upset because of their attitude, their body language, their application. So I was having a go at them there, whereas when we were losing, I wasn't really having a go at them. So it was about getting the best out of your players, no matter the result, no matter the situation, and sometimes just to get them a bit shocked, you know, at times, you know, and yeah, just to wake them up a bit.
So yeah, we've talked about a lot today. So we are coming to the end of the podcast.
Yeah.
I would like to say thank you very much.
Thank you.
For joining me on the Chinwag Podcast today. So make sure you follow Mansor. His socials will be in the description down below, and so will Camden United. So make sure you follow that up after you watch this podcast. But yeah, thank you very much, Mansor.
Thanks a lot, man.
If you did enjoy that video, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. And don't forget, I'll see you later for more.
That's all, man. Quality. Good questions, man.
Thank you, bro.
Gary Lineker.